We Overthink Everything. Part 1. The Voice That Never Stops. Have you ever replayed a conversation in your head 20 times? Maybe someone replied with just one word, "Okay." Suddenly, your mind starts racing. Are they upset? Did I say something wrong? Should I text them again? Maybe I shouldn't have said anything at all. 5 minutes later, you're imagining the friendship ending, all because of one tiny message. Now here's the strange part. Most of us know we're overthinking while we're doing it. We tell ourselves, stop thinking about it. But somehow, that only makes us think even more. Why? Why does the human brain keep spinning stories that probably aren't true? Why do we analyze tiny details as if our survival depends on them? And perhaps the biggest question, can we actually stop overthinking? Today, we're diving into the fascinating psychology behind one of humanity's most exhausting habits. Simply thinking too much. It's your brain trying, sometimes desperately, to protect you. Ironically, that protection often becomes the very thing that hurts you. Imagine you're walking through a forest. Suddenly, you hear rustling in the bushes. Your ancestors had two choices: ignore it, or assume something dangerous was hiding there. If they guessed wrong and ignored a predator, they might not survive. But if they guessed wrong and ran away from nothing, they simply lost a little energy. Evolution rewarded the cautious. It favored brains that imagined worst-case scenarios. Thousands of generations later, that ancient survival system is still inside you. The only difference? Today's predators usually aren't lions. They're emails, interviews, relationships, social media, deadlines. Your brain doesn't always know the difference. To it, embarrassment can feel almost as threatening as physical danger. That's why your heart races before giving a presentation. It's why you lose sleep over one awkward comment. Your brain believes it's helping. It thinks, let's analyze every possible outcome so we're prepared. Sounds useful, until preparation becomes obsession. Researchers often describe the brain as a prediction machine. Every second, it's trying to guess what happens next. If predictions are accurate, life feels smooth. If something unexpected happens, the brain immediately starts searching for explanations. Imagine your friend usually replies within 5 minutes. Today, hours pass. Silence. Instantly, your mind begins filling the empty space. Maybe they're angry. Maybe they're ignoring you. Maybe something terrible happened. Notice something interesting? Your brain hates uncertainty more than bad news. Even negative explanations feel strangely comforting because at least they provide an answer. Psychologists call this the need for cognitive closure. Our minds crave certainty. When certainty isn't available, we manufacture stories. The problem? Those stories are often fiction, yet emotionally, they feel completely real. Time you couldn't sleep because of something embarrassing. Maybe you stumbled over your words, forgot someone's name, sent a message to the wrong person. You replayed it repeatedly. Meanwhile, everyone else had already forgotten. So why couldn't you? Because your brain places a spotlight on your own mistakes. Psychologists call this the spotlight effect. We naturally assume people notice us far more than they actually do. In reality, everyone else is too busy worrying about themselves. They're replaying their own awkward moments, not yours. Imagine walking into school wearing mismatched socks. You might think everyone notices immediately. In truth, most people never even look. Yet, your brain acts as though a giant spotlight is following you everywhere. That spotlight exists mostly inside your own mind. Now let's talk about something even stranger. Did you know thinking and solving aren't the same thing? At first glance, they seem identical, but they're completely different. Imagine your car breaks down. You call a mechanic. That's problem solving. Now imagine lying awake at 3 a.m. wondering, what if my car breaks again? What if I can't afford repairs? What if I lose my job because of it? That's overthinking. Notice the difference? One moves toward action, the other moves in circles. Overthinking creates the illusion of productivity. It feels like you're doing something useful, but often Nothing changes except your anxiety level. It's like sitting in a rocking chair. You're moving constantly, yet never getting anywhere. One reason overthinking becomes addictive is because occasionally, it works. Imagine you carefully plan an important presentation. You anticipate difficult questions. The meeting goes perfectly. Your brain learns an important lesson. Thinking more equals better outcomes. So next time, it thinks even harder. The problem is that the brain struggles to distinguish productive planning from endless worrying. Eventually, preparation crosses an invisible line. You stop gathering useful information and start recycling the same thoughts, again and again and again. This mental loop is called rumination. Unlike reflection, which helps us learn, rumination traps us inside the same emotional experience. It's like watching the same movie every night, hoping for a different ending. Technology has quietly made this habit even stronger. Thousands of years ago, if someone ignored you, you might not see them for weeks. Today, you know they were online 3 minutes ago. They saw your story. They liked someone else's photo, but not yours. Suddenly, your imagination has endless new material. Social media provides tiny fragments of information. Your brain fills in the missing pieces, usually with the worst possible assumptions. One missing emoji, one delayed response, one unread message. Each becomes another puzzle demanding explanation. Our brains were never designed for this constant stream of social uncertainty. Yet, here we are, checking, refreshing, wondering, again and again. There's another hidden reason we overthink: control. Humans love feeling in control, even when we aren't. Imagine turbulence during a flight. Some passengers grip the armrests, others repeatedly check the safety card. Neither action changes the turbulence, but both create the feeling of doing something. Overthinking works the same way. We convince ourselves that if we think long enough, we'll eventually discover the perfect answer, the perfect decision, the perfect future. But life doesn't offer perfect certainty. No amount of thinking can eliminate every risk. And that's exactly what makes overthinking so exhausting. Your brain keeps chasing a level of certainty that simply doesn't exist. Here's the twist. The smartest people aren't necessarily the biggest overthinkers. But intelligence can sometimes become fuel for overthinking. A creative mind can imagine hundreds of possibilities. That's wonderful for innovation. It's terrible for anxiety. Every solution creates 3 new questions. Every answer creates 5 new doubts. The imagination that writes beautiful stories can also write terrifying ones. The difference isn't intelligence, it's where that imagination is directed. And that's where the real battle begins, because the greatest enemy of overthinking isn't ignorance. It's learning when to stop listening to every thought your mind produces. The mental traps that keep us stuck. Let's explore something surprising. Have you ever noticed that the more important something is, the harder it becomes to stop thinking about it? A simple decision like choosing what to eat for lunch might take a few seconds, but choosing a career, ending a relationship, starting a business, or sending one important message can keep your mind occupied for days, weeks, or even months. Why? Because your brain believes that one decision could change your entire future. And sometimes that's true. But here's the catch. Your brain often exaggerates just how much depends on a single choice. Psychologists call this catastrophizing. It's the habit of imagining the worst possible outcome and treating it as the most likely one. Imagine you're preparing for a job interview. Instead of thinking, "I'll do my best," your mind jumps to, "I'll forget everything. The interviewer will think I'm incompetent. I'll never get hired anywhere. My career is over." Notice how quickly one event snowballs into a disaster? The brain doesn't just predict, it creates stories. And the more emotional those stories become, the more believable they feel. Here's another mental trap: perfectionism. Many people think perfectionists simply have high standards, but that's only part of the story. Deep down, perfectionism is often driven by fear. Fear of making mistakes, fear of being judged, fear of regret. Imagine writing an important email. You read it once, twice, 5 times, 10 times. You change one sentence, then change it back. 30 minutes later, you're still editing. Not because the email isn't good enough, but because you're trying to eliminate every possible chance of failure. The problem? Perfection is impossible. There will always be another word to change, another possibility to consider, another tiny detail to question. Overthinking feeds on perfectionism because perfection gives it no finish line. If nothing is ever good enough, the thinking never ends. One of the biggest reasons people overthink isn't fear of failure, it's fear of making the wrong choice. Imagine standing at a crossroads. One path leads left, the other leads right. You don't know which is better. Instead of choosing, you freeze, because choosing one path means giving up the other. Psychologists call this decision paralysis. Ironically, the more options we have, the harder choosing becomes. Think about streaming services, hundreds of movies, thousands of shows. After scrolling for 40 minutes, many people end up watching nothing at all. Too many choices don't always create freedom. Sometimes, they create anxiety. Our brains keep searching for the perfect option, but often, there isn't one. There are simply different paths, each with their own opportunities and challenges. Here's something that might surprise you. Overthinking isn't always about the future. Sometimes, it's about the past. Why did I say that? Why didn't I speak up? What if I had taken that opportunity? What if I had stayed? What if I had left sooner? These questions have one thing in common. They can't be answered. The past cannot be changed, yet the brain keeps revisiting it. If replaying the memory enough times might somehow rewrite history. This is known as counterfactual thinking. Your mind imagines alternate versions of reality. The job you almost accepted, the relationship that almost worked, the opportunity you almost took. These imagined worlds can feel incredibly vivid, sometimes even better than reality. But every minute spent living in an imaginary past is a minute stolen from the present. That overthinking gets louder at night? During the day, you're busy, working, studying, talking, driving. Your attention has somewhere to go. But when everything becomes quiet, the mind finally has room to wander. That's why so many people suddenly remember embarrassing moments from 10 years ago at 2 o'clock in the morning. The darkness isn't creating new problems, it's simply removing distractions. Now, your thoughts have the entire stage. Unfortunately, our brains also become more emotional when we're tired. Fatigue weakens our ability to think logically. Small worries suddenly feel enormous. A text message seems like a crisis. A mistake feels unforgivable. By morning, many of those same worries seem much smaller. Nothing changed except your brain's emotional state. Imagine a snow globe. When it's sitting still, everything settles. You can see clearly. Now shake it violently. The water becomes cloudy. You can't see through it anymore. Your mind works the same way. When stress increases, thoughts become chaotic. The harder you try to force clarity, the cloudier everything becomes. That's why people under pressure often struggle to make even simple decisions. Stress convinces the brain that every choice is life or death, and when every decision feels equally important, choosing becomes almost impossible. Is something called the negativity bias. The human brain naturally pays more attention to negative experiences than positive ones. Imagine receiving 10 comments online. 9 are compliments. 1 is criticism. Which one stays in your mind? Usually, the criticism. Your ancestors survived because they noticed danger. Ignoring one predator could be fatal. Ignoring one compliment didn't matter. That ancient survival system still shapes our modern thinking. One awkward conversation can outweigh 20 pleasant ones. One mistake can overshadow months of success. Overthinking often begins with that single negative event. Then the brain zooms in, magnifies it, and refuses to let go. Social comparison makes things even harder. Every day, we're exposed to carefully edited versions of other people's lives. Vacations, promotions, perfect relationships, new houses, happy families, smiling faces. Rarely do we see the anxiety, the arguments, the failures, the sleepless nights. Yet, our brains compare our messy reality to someone else's highlight reel. Then we begin asking impossible questions. Why am I behind? Why aren't I happier? Why haven't I achieved more? These comparisons create new worries. Those worries trigger more thinking, and the cycle continues. Here's one of the biggest myths about overthinking. People assume that if they analyze something long enough, they'll eventually feel certain. But certainty is surprisingly rare. Even experts make decisions without having every answer. Doctors, scientists, pilots, entrepreneurs, parents. None of them have perfect information. They simply make the best decision they can, using the knowledge available. Waiting for complete certainty often means waiting forever. Life moves. Opportunities pass. Time continues. Meanwhile, the overthinker remains frozen. Not because they lack intelligence, but because they're waiting for a feeling that may never arrive. Overthinking steals attention from the present moment. Imagine sitting at dinner with friends. Everyone is laughing, sharing stories, making memories, but you're replaying something that happened this morning. Physically, you're there. Mentally, you're somewhere else entirely. Overthinking disconnects us from life as it's happening. Instead of experiencing today, we mentally live in yesterday or tomorrow. And here's the irony. Many of the moments we later wish we'd appreciated were lost because we were too busy worrying. If overthinking is rooted in evolution, fueled by fear, strengthened by stress, and reinforced by modern technology, does that mean we're trapped? Not at all, because scientists have discovered something remarkable about the human brain. It isn't fixed. It changes. Every experience, every habit, every repeated thought actually reshapes the brain itself. That means the same mind that learned to overthink can also learn to let go. But doing that requires understanding one powerful truth. You cannot always control the thoughts that enter your mind, but you can learn to change your relationship with them. And that simple shift can transform everything.